What's up, guys? I'm Brian here for thelines.com, playpicks.com, and let's talk some picks, some previews, and predictions here for the Cleveland Browns, a team that I am very, very high on this season. We'll talk some bets here a little later in the video. Guys, while you're here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up and let us know in that comment section how you plan to play the Cleveland Browns this season. Head over to thelines.com. Whenever you get here, just click on this NFL tab. When you do, it'll take you right here. And when you are here, you just click on any of these teams and it'll take you to the full betting guide. Bam, there we go. Into the Cleveland Browns right here. And as we get started, we're heading into year number 2 of Kevin Stefanski. They go 11-5 last season. Offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt, defensive coordinator Joe Woods, both return to this team. Some really big free agent signings for this team, some really big free agency moves in this team. They were not good on the defensive side of the ball, so they go out. They get safety John Johnson. Maybe the name doesn't jump off the page to you, but he is a baller. This name you definitely know. They go and get defensive end Jadeveon Clowney to come in and play on the edge and help out that defensive line. They bring in corner Troy Hill, another name that maybe flies under the radar to you, but he is a big-time player. They also bring in corner Terrence Marshall. They brought in defensive end Tack McKinley. He's just there for depth. They brought in defensive tackle Malik Jackson as well, linebacker Anthony Walker. It is a team that knew what they needed to do on the defensive side of the ball, and they went out and they did it in free agency. The other thing about this team is in the draft. What do? First round pick, Greg Newsome, a cornerback. They stay on the defensive side of the ball. Second round pick, linebacker. They stay on the defensive side of the ball. Finally, third round, Anthony Schwartz, a wide receiver who basically was a track guy at Auburn as well. Ran a 4.26 40 at his pro day this year, and they wanted to bring someone that can open up the field, right? And so they bring in Anthony Schwartz, and he's a guy that I'm sure they're going to use as just a burner, kind of in that Ted Ginn role to open up the offense. And hey, you have to account for him, and if you don't, then they can throw over the top on you. Offensive tackle in the 4th, defensive tackle in the 4th as well, and then a linebacker in the 5th round for this team right here. That is, as you can see, this is the Super Bowl winner over here at DraftKings, 16-1 to win it all. This team was 9th overall offense DVOA last year. The problem was they were 25th overall DVOA on defense. So that's why they go out in the draft, they go out in free agency, they really, really tackle and attack the defensive side of the ball. Now, Football Outsiders is lower on this team than most everybody else, and definitely me. They have a mean projection of 8.6 wins for this team. That would actually have this team having a losing record this year. If you remember, we're playing a 17-game season this year. They have a playoff contender 36.6% of the time. Playoff contender in their mind is a team with 9 to 11 wins. So that's kind of get you in the playoff hunt there. 36.6% of the time they haven't won in the Super Bowl, 2.2% of the time. ESPN, I'll head to the conference here. You can see 8-1 for them to win the conference for a team that ESPN has ranked as the 3rd ranked roster heading into 2021. They are behind only the Chiefs and the Bucks, according to ESPN, as far as how good this roster is for this Browns team. We head to the division wins right here. Over on the AFC North, you can see they are still a dog in this division to the Ravens. Ravens plus 110, Browns plus 155. Warren Sharp actually said over at Sharp Football, this is the second easiest schedule in the NFL heading into this season for this Cleveland Browns team. That said, his simulations only have them projected at 9.5 wins, 9.5. Now, you do get a little bit higher when you get to Pro Football Focus, who has them rated at 10.2 wins in their simulations and has this team power rated 8th overall heading into the season. So super highly rated roster, super highly power rated by all these teams, but for whatever reason, maybe it's the strength of the division. It is in there with the Ravens. It is in there with the Steelers. Maybe the Steelers bounce back a little bit as to why this win projection isn't as high as you would think. So again, Browns 155 plus 155 here to win the AFC North. If we take a look over here, here's the win total, and it's sitting at 10.5 for a team with the number 1 graded offensive line heading into the season, according to Pro Football Focus. They return all 5 starters that ranked 1st in pass blocking grade last year and 2nd in run blocking grade last year. 4 of the 5 offensive linemen ranked at the top 2 in their position. That's Wyatt Teller, Jack Conklin, J.C. Treader, Joel Bitonio, all absolute studs. They had a rookie left tackle in Jedrick Wills who, listen, he was a very good pass blocker, not that great run blocker, but we also have a team here that with a rookie lineman, you have 4 studs. He learns from those guys. We see these rookie linemen, whenever they're on offensive linemen with continuity, really take a big step in year 2. So that's exactly what they're expecting here. ESPN also projects his team to have the number 1 pass blocking win rate in 2021. Now, the defensive side of the ball, and again, 10.5 wins here for this team. If we go over here, will they make the playoffs? Yes, minus 225. No, plus 175. Might come down to the defensive line, right? And it might come down to the defense in general. Defensive line, PFF actually has him 11th overall heading into the season. Listen, Jadeveon Clowney, for as much as he's taken since he's been in the league, because he was so dominant in college and it hasn't completely translated to the NFL, it gets a little bit of hate, but he's been an 86th percentile pass rush grade over the last 5 seasons and a 97th percentile run defender. The problem is just the injuries, right? And he's not always on the field. But when he's out there, he's awesome. And then you look at a defensive line that already has Myles Garrett. They add Malik Jackson to this defensive line. He's got a plus rated pass rush as well. They get Andrew Billings back after opting out of 2020, so he's there for depth and rotation. They have Tack McKinley to be in rotation there with Garrett and Clowney. I mean, this defensive line should be night and day from what we saw last year. The secondary, now with these additions, the free agency and what they get back from injury, they're also ranked really, really high. The number 3 secondary in all the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus, as we head into the 2021 season. They added John Johnson at safety. They added Troy Hill as a slot/nickel corner. Both those guys are immediate starters. You get back Greedy Williams. You remember he didn't play. You get back Grant Delpit. You remember he didn't play either. They drafted Greg Newsome, a corner, in the first round. I mean, they have almost too much talent in the secondary. So I like this team to make the playoffs. I don't know if I'm laying minus 225, but I definitely like this team to make the playoffs. And then you come over here to some of these props, and I brought up the Baker Mayfield one here because here's passing at 39.50, right? And you're going to look at Baker's stats from last year, and you're going to say, wait a minute, he didn't come close to this. You have to remember, no team dealt with more weather issues in games than this Cleveland Browns team. There were 2 games where the wind was blowing so incredibly hard, the teams basically just abandoned the passing game altogether. It was, you might remember, there was one game, the wind was blowing so hard, a guy kicked a field goal, was heading straight down the middle. It took a hard left turn and missed. I mean, it was insanity. There was also a monsoon game as well. I mean, downpour, rain going sideways. Again, we don't focus on rain too much until it gets to that level, and you can't pass in it. So Baker at 39.50, just to give you a breakdown, if he plays all 17 games, that's 232 yards a game. If he plays 16 games, 246 yards a game. If he plays 15 games, 263 yards a game. Now, if he gets below that, you're not going to want to play this for sure. If he ends up missing more than 3 games and only plays, 14, 13 games, you're not going to hit this prop. But if he plays 17, 16, 15, we're talking 232, 246, 263. You got to remember when we're talking this offense, right? Really hit its stride at the end of last season. Should have an open up passing game here because, again, as we just mentioned, they go and they get a burner and Andrew Schwartz to kind of open up the field. And, oh, by the way, you get Odell Beckham back from injury to pair alongside Jarvis Landry, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Rashard Higgins, and then you also have a pass catching back and Kareem Hunt out of the backfield. So I really like the over here on this for Baker Mayfield. I understand we're rolling the dice because of injury. I do understand that this is a team, if they're as good as I say they are, then they're going to be leading in a lot of games, and they're going to want to run. They're going to want to salt the clock. But we're only asking for 232 or 246 from Baker if he happens to miss a game this year. And I think this team on the passing side, getting Odell Beckham back and the weapons that they have really could be special. And an awesome running game is certainly going to only help the passing game as well. So I really do like the over on Baker Mayfield. I already bet the Browns to win the AFC North as well. I love the Browns to win the AFC North. I am all over that. I also, in conjunction, bet them to win the AFC. And of course, if I did that, I also bet them to win the the Super Bowl. I'm super, super high on this team. I think they are one of the 2 to 3 best teams in all of the AFC. And if things break right, then I think this could end up being the team to beat over in the AFC. Yes, they're still the Chiefs. Yes, they're still the Bills. I like the Browns after those 2 teams for sure. And you never know. Weird seasons in football. Something ever, hopefully not. Something were to happen to Patrick Mahomes, something were to happen to Josh Allen, could really, really open the door for this Cleveland team with a much improved defense, an awesome offense. Really do like them in every which way. And then also, the other thing I've done, if all those things were to happen, then what else do we think is also going to happen in order to get that done? And that would be Baker Mayfield to win the MVP. So I also have a Baker Mayfield ticket to win the MVP because, again, if they win the division and then win the conference, then he's going to win the MVP because he's going to have had a monster season for this to happen. So it's all kind of a correlated play here on this Cleveland Browns team that I am very, very high on. And at the end of the season, I'm either going to have a lot of people saying, hey, man, you were right, or there's going to be a lot of people saying, boy, you are an idiot. But do love this Cleveland Browns team. You can come over here, you look at this schedule, lots and lots of winnable games outside of this, which is a Kansas City game in week 1, which, by the way, if you want to play them to win the Super Bowl or whatever, you're going to have to play both sides of this game. You're going to have to play it before, and then you have to play it after if they were to lose. If they were to win, you're never going to see the number again, which is why you have to play it before. If they lose that game, then you can play it again after. But then you go from here. There should just be a lot of wins just racked in right here. Tons and tons of wins as they head into that week 13 bye. I think we could be talking about Cleveland being one of the very best teams in all of the league as they head into that bye week. And yeah, they come out against the Ravens, and there is still a Packers game in there. But look, you still have the Bengals, you still have the Raiders. It's going to be a good season here for this Cleveland Browns team. Guys, as always, go ahead and give us a subscription, subscribe to the page here. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Let us know in that comment section below, what's your prediction for this team? Do you have any other, crazy other predictions that are going to happen for the Cleveland Browns team? Because these are things that, I think this is one of the more polarizing teams as we head into the 2021 season. Head over to Lines. Everything you do is absolutely free. Get in on these betting guides, guys, and good luck in all your bets.